All right, time for some more underground metal madness, and we have a lot to get into today. So let's just kick things off with Coldbound with the Gale. Alright, so some pretty solid melodic death metal out of Finland. Very much got that Finnish style sound, although I actually would say they sound a lot like Bellacore. The vocals in particular, that kind of like phlegmy sounding delivery, if you will. I'm really a big fan of that style, excuse me, and just love melodic death metal in general. Production's great, love the album art. Performance-wise, it sounds really cool. Great way to kick off our episode today. And if you're new here again, we just give you about 30 to 40 seconds to check out the band and then hope that you go off and check them out for yourself. So moving on, we have Dissidence with 7 Crosses Impaled. Alright, some very gnarly old school death metal out of Colombia. Some blackened influence in there as well, I would say. Definitely on the other side of the spectrum from the previous band. We went from like pure melodic modern production to just ugly, dissonant, yucky stuff, and I dig it. This one sounds really good too. I think production-wise it hits what it's going for. You don't want it to be too clean, and performance-wise pretty solid. I'd be curious listening to, a longer stretch of it, whether these songs can maintain like a 6-minute runtime. That seems like a little bit of a stretch, but I could be totally wrong. Again, we're just sampling here, but I like what I'm hearing. Let's move on to Poltergeist with Pax Satana Infernale, Luciferi Imperium. All right, so instrumentally, really leaning on the black metal, I would say, but the vocals going a bit more death metal, kind of a mix of the two. Very just ugly, ugly stuff out of Brazil. Got some cool stuff that we've had from there in the past, and sounds good. Giving me kind of like Gorgoroth vibes for much of it, but again with the much more kind of death metal influenced vocals. But as we see in the tags here, blasphemy, Luciferianism, like just very pure satanic classic second wave stuff. But with that, again, that kind of twist on the vocals. Sounds pretty rad. Next up, we have Bloodletter with Leave the Light Behind.
Exploding every living thing.
Okay, that's rad. Some really awesome thrash metal there, out of my own old stomping grounds of Chicago, Illinois. Again, us Chicagoans gotta stick together. The riffs, man, the riffs, awesome. I see melodic thrash in the tags here, but all kinds of tags in the thrash. I'm glad to see melodic death metal in there too, because there's a lot of just like pure mellow death sounding riffs in there as well, but with those very thrash metal vocals. This may be one that I pull to spend a little bit more time with, but man, I gotta tell y'all, in addition to just being overwhelmed with underground recommendations here, which is why we do it this way, I only have so much time, and this is my quick way to get through some of the stuff that wouldn't get covered otherwise. But man, there's been so much coming through, it's hard to keep up with all of it. It's frankly overwhelming. But yeah, Bloodletter, check them out. Next up, we have Graven with March of the Broken. Some impressive atmosphere there, especially considering this is a one-man project out of Italy, and emphasizing the atmospheric side of things, described as post-black and atmospheric metal. And yeah, that's what it is. Very atmospheric, like in the melodies, definitely emphasizing the music over the vocals, at least on this track it seemed like. It's a long track, though, so it can be hard. Sometimes I sample like a 10-minute track like this and get one impression of it, and then when I go and actually listen to it all the way through, it may be totally different. So another reason for you all to bookmark these albums for yourselves. And they are always down in the description, too. People ask me all the time. People ignore the description. Click expand on the description. Not only are all of these albums listed, but they are linked right there for your convenience. So check out Graven with March of the Broken. Next we have Bog Walker with Bleak.
You people just aren't ready to play God.
Okay, that's fun. I'm a sucker for a good sample and a good like vocal call out before, the big breakdown. Also those very Meshuggah-y moments, just gent used in an effective manner. These guys are out of Edmonton, Alberta, and I think the description fits well. Just some dudes from up in the north making atmospheric mosh music. I hear elements of death metal, deathcore, groove metal, even a little black metal in there, but yeah, interesting. Interesting. Seems very heavy. That is clearly the emphasis here, and got me intrigued. It's another one here that's kind of stood out so far, but gotta keep moving because we got so much to cover here. We have Ogopogo with Infinite Majesty. And that was settling into a nice groove at the end there, too. Also, big props for the drumming was what really stood out to me there. Just some really crazy rhythms going on there. This is another one-man metal project, this time emphasizing black metal, another Alberta project. And at first it started off kind of like just it's more typical kind of second wavy black metal, but as it progressed, I feel like it opened up into some... I was even hearing, maybe I'm crazy, but just like some 90s like noise and even grungy influences mixed in with the black metal stuff there. But you can all let me know what you think of that down in the comments. Maybe I'm way off base, but sounded pretty cool to me. Next up, we have the return of the GoDie Project with WSB. So that's for our ambient lovers there. GoDie, covered them a number of times before, but electronic, avant-garde, drone, noise, industrial, lots of stuff going on there. I think I caught like a little subtle saxophone in there too. Often very eerie sounding stuff. Great background music in my experience for doing work at the same time. But yeah, that is GoDie. I know it's not going to be for everyone here, but I think it's nice to mix things up with some stuff that's not just pure quote-unquote metal. But moving on, we have Venus with Uploaded Brains. Getting in some crazy riffage there. I was even like getting a little voivod maybe, which is appropriate because reading their own bio here, Venus is a sci-fi horror thrash metal band from Athens, Greece, fusing technical riffs with cosmic horror themes. And yeah, fitting. I would be shocked if they don't at least have voivod as an influence. And I'm interested to hear more. This is just a little like 2-song EP. I'm a little on the fence with the vocals, I would say. But again, this is just a little snapshot. I'd be curious to check it out a little bit more. But that's the one element of this that I wasn't entirely sold on. But to be fair, I wasn't initially sold on Voivod's vocals either when I first started checking them out, and it grew on me. So sometimes a little difference and weirdness can be a good thing. So don't necessarily say that it's I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just undecided on it. Next, we have Ophelion with The Jaunt. All right, some big progressive metal there. In another case of we're only getting like a tiny sampling of this giant track. This isn't even the longest track on here. You got a 14-minute closer. Good mix here of almost like kind of Dream Theater-esque progressive metal with more modern kind of like progressive death metal going on as well. I think the production could be slightly improved from what I'm checking out here, just based on like when I hear progressive metal like this, where it's like huge, like I really want it to come across as massive. I feel like the guitar tone in particular, like, could be a little bit better, but this is all nitpicky stuff. Performances sounded pretty awesome. I was getting into it. Vocals seem very strong, so yeah. Check out Ophelion. They are out of the UK. We have Oleg Stalker with Star Wanderer. Forgive my slurping. All right, pretty cool. More kind of classic metal sounding stuff. Just pure heavy metal, maybe even like a little Iron Maidenish stuff going on. A little bit of progressive elements in there as well. Not always my favorite thing, especially newer projects in that style. I feel like that whole just movement is kind of done and dusted, but I liked what I was hearing here. The bass sounded awesome. Guitar work was cool. Production's pretty solid. Even the vocals, which initially I was kind of like, it's not exactly my thing. I thought they were really taking me back to that more kind of 70s vibe. So another cool standout here, something a little different from what we usually get. We don't get a lot of like classic heavy metal stuff, so it's nice to mix things up again. Noticeably, sometimes we get a ton of Doom. No Doom yet today, but we got some more to go, so we'll see. Next up is Spirit Temple with 4. So I swear I didn't plan that, but there we go. We got Doom in the tags here, definitely leaning in that way. But interestingly, too, though, there's also Dungeons and Dragons, Elder Scrolls, and Skyrim in the tags. This is a fantasy-themed project out of Australia. And, man, that was some solid Doom. A little industrial element in there, too, which I'm a little surprised not to see in the tags. Like, I was even getting a little bit of, like, street cleaner era Godflesh mixed in, but more emphasizing the Doom, just like tunneling into this chasm. Cool production, solid stuff. Next is Voidchrist, also out of Australia, with Only Worms Rule Here. So kind of an interesting one here. They describe themselves as black metal, but instead of the kind of cold ice, the aesthetic, it's black metal from thermonuclear deserts. So like the black metal's answer to cytotoxin, I guess, something like that. They do also have death metal in the tags, which I definitely hear both. And yeah, interesting, very gurgly, gnarly stuff. Those vocals are just gross in the best possible way. Definitely going for kind of a more lo-fi kind of, more rugged production angle. And yeah, seems interesting, seems solid. I also like that it's just a 5-song EP because I feel like that's almost all I could take of this style. But yeah, check out Voidchrist. And we have Refusal with Venomous Human Concept. Yeah, that's cool. So they describe themselves as death metal with a hint of grind since 2008. And this is apparently their 3rd album. Going full circle back to Finland here. I dig what I'm hearing. I'm a sucker for the D-beats, as regular viewers know. Like, that's just the easiest cheat code to get me banging my head vigorously. And digging the energy. Just really solid stuff. Like, is it reinventing the wheel? No, but the stuff like this doesn't necessarily have to. It's just a good time. I like the album art too. Next, we have UFO with I Am Because We Are. So if you couldn't tell from the music and from just the overall aesthetic here, UFO is a mathcore project and very much influenced clearly by the kind of MySpace era. A lot of sasscore elements in there too. This is why I wish there were like 5 of me, because I would love to be able to cover some of this stuff in like the mainline videos too, but there's just too much. It's just impossible. Hopefully at some point these guys make it into one of the kind of quote unquote mainline videos, but I just hope y'all are enjoying and checking them out here, because we've covered them a few times at this point and always dig what I hear. Love the off-kilter stuff. This was a lot of what I was listening to, especially in like later college years. Awesome. Always a fan of the mathcore stuff. One of my favorite genres. Sleazy Rider is the label. So we've got Orfarion with A Faraway World. So we don't, symphonic metal is another genre we don't get a ton of stuff on here, because it's not the most popular thing in my audience, but I did do discography tier lists fairly recently on Nightwish and Epica, and I'm a fan of those. And this definitely seems like it falls into the same kind of potential fan base. I'm curious how long this band has been around, because this feels a little bit... Oh, it's the debut. It's Turkish, too. So I think that's fitting, because I think there's some elements you could improve on here, but there's a strong foundation. I think the vocals could be tightened up a little bit. Some of those high notes just feel a little iffy to me. I'm by no means like a vocal coach or anything, but that stood out to me. And then just the overall production, there's always room for growth. I mean, you even listen to the first like Epica and Nightwish albums, and they're a far stretch from where they are now with these like big grandiose productions. But yeah, seems like there's some good elements there to build off of. So if you like symphonic metal, check out Orpharion. We also have Versus Cell with Extra Throne. So circling back to just some pure thrash metal elements there, man, they are shredding it up on the guitar with that. I am impressed with that. This is out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and I feel like you can almost tell without even looking. And yeah, the guitar work, excellent. Vocals, pretty solid. I think there's some room for improvement there, but overall, I like the kind of rebellious sort of 80s vibe of those. I think musically, you've got it. Honestly, my biggest point of feedback here from this like cynical person who like listens to and enjoys so much music, I think one thing that's going to hold you back is emphasize the music. That's the most important thing, but don't discount like your marketing factor, because this ain't it. Like if you're trying to put a whole album out there and this is your cover artwork, a lot of people are just going to scroll right past that. That's just the cynical reality of the world we live in with our oversaturated music. You need something that's going to pop. That doesn't mean you need to spend, $200+ on an album artist or whatever. I'm also not encouraging you necessarily to go the AI route. Although for me personally, if you're like a nobody band with no money and you're just getting started, I don't see the reason to get up in arms about that. But that's neither here nor there. You can also, if you even look at my page where I used to do my little like Metal Trenches samplers, I would just take a photograph. Like I'd take a photograph of some cool nature and just like slap the stuff. It's like instant production value, or something that's just eye catching. So consider that. But musically, I'm digging it. I'm definitely down. We have Special Victims Unit with Tales from the Boneyard. And yes, this is tongue-in-cheek. Like, it should be obvious right from the drop, but let's get into it.
Choking up a big ass bowl of weed. Then I heard a sound when I found I was really high. Bright ass lights started shining down from the sky. While I was sitting at home and smoking weed. Oh man, I'm so stoned. Hey, what's that? Beat it, you stupid ass alien, I'm trying to ask. What was it that they planted in my ass?
So I don't normally cover this more kind of shitposty stuff, but man, I pressed play on this and I was just having a good time. Like I love that style of just like kind of classic punk music. But mixed in with these like weird sci-fi stoner bong rip kind of aesthetic. It's fun. It's fun. Out of New Bedford, Massachusetts. I love that they clearly don't take themselves too seriously, but at the same time, like the music's solid. It's not bad by any means. It's like listening to, it's not that different from like listening to Cannabis Corpse, but just with a punk aesthetic instead of death metal. So yeah, you want to just like have a laugh, have a good time, which again, I feel like a lot of us could use right now. Let's not take things so damn seriously. So yeah, that's Special Victims Unit. Moving on, we have Disquietude Vengeance with Psychosadistic Existence. So I get quite a few requests out of India, but generally it's more thrash metal and black metal, sometimes death metal. I'm not sure I've gotten any deathcore out of India, so this may be kind of a unique feature here, but brutal deathcore, as they describe themselves, and it's pretty solid. As far as things go, I think there's room for these guys to grow outwards and get more well known. I think for kind of what they're doing, it sounds solid. And this is from 2024, but pretty late in 2024. And I just wanted to feature it because it was cool. Cool stuff. I don't know what else to say. You want deathcore? They got deathcore for you. We have Hostia with Razorblade Psalm. That is some fun, gnarly stuff out of Poland. Speaking of grind, this is grindcore and death grind. Love that snare tone. Just punchy stuff. Again, on the marketing side, too. I can't say this enough. I always try to point it out when I see it. I love when bands match the color scheme and aesthetic of their album cover to their Bandcamp page. There's just something very pleasing to me about that. And it's just part of the whole package. But the music speaks for itself. Just really intense, fun stuff. This came out back in May. Definitely check it out. And then we have Raincoat with Raincoat. Another one going back to those just classic metal days with lots of Black Sabbath and kind of Dio vibes on there. Pretty strong vocal performance. Again, this is not like generally my vibe, but I sampled a little bit of this and I dug what I heard. And again, it's good to mix things up. And yeah, just across the board, I think for what they're going for, they nailed it. Even the production has that just very kind of classic 70s energy to it. And I appreciate that. So yeah, good note to end on. That was a lot. And man, stuff has been coming in so fast. Slow down, y'all, because I just can't cover everything. I do my best. Check out this playlist for plenty more of these. Please do consider becoming a channel member or a patron if you want to continue supporting this segment, because I say it every time, but it's the least popular segment, and the ad revenue on these does not pay the bills. So consider doing that if you want to keep this segment alive, because it takes a lot to keep up with all this stuff, and it can be overwhelming. But thank you all for just watching. I will see you in the trenches.